Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a Vtuber, and I'll be going over Gundam Witch from Mercury, episode 18, titled Our Empty Selves. So just a real quick reminder before I start is that if you'd like to talk more about Witch from Mercury with other like-minded people, there will be a Discord server linked in the description, so feel free to join that if you're interested. Anyway, let's get started. So in the beginning, we pretty much kind of see the quick aftermath of the duel with Suletta and Guel. So what we learned also a bit more about permit scores too. I'll also mention that. When permit was discovered within materials, so it looks like it's some sort of, it's kind of like Gundanium in a way, where it's like some sort of special material, I guess, right? When permit was discovered within materials, its special information sharing properties became the basis for all these theories. Today, it's responsible for controlling and managing systems of every kind. So it's kind of like, so it's like I don't know if it's information sharing, right? So it's kind of like a very, it's a material that's very good for like clouds and stuff, I guess. Maybe there's a better way to describe that. Excuse me, is it used in monorail? So you can see that Suletta is unusually cheerful. So she's asking a question here. Is permit used in monorails? And the teacher says permit links connect all transit cars on campus to central dispatch. So it's like it's like a database or like information system, I guess. And a lot of her Earthian classmates noticed that Scylla's been acting kind of weird. Like she does like the drills at school here with the Haros. She uses a normal training robot. Worried when she lost a type holder. They also took the arrow. She must be hurting, right? You see that she made ramen with a lot of noodles in it. And she shows everyone her checklist again. So if we look at it carefully, eat lunch in the school cafeteria with friends. Let's see. Raise hand in class in a cool way. Meet up with friends to get to and from school. Buy, eat a snack after school. Celebrate a birthday party with friends. She hasn't done that yet. With how Kurt's birthdays are, I'm not even that surprised. And then last one is go shopping with friends. Yes. So in a way, she's focused on kind of doing her checklist for the time being. But her friends aren't taking that. Get the opening for now. See, Guel here is trying to get some financial support, but you see that he's getting exclusionary from his shareholders. See, he's like, oops, financing is pointless if you can't meet your goals, right? Because in a way, people who are trying to give you money just want, in the end, they want a return, right? If they don't think you'll be successful, they won't get any money. For the son of Finch Turk, right? He has no, the meeting ends. Financiers won't say yes, right? So you think you have no track record. And you can see that Miorine and Guel have like the matching outfit, which is kind of cute. It mostly just to show their engagement publicly, I guess. Doesn't your company have a new mobile suit you haven't announced yet, right? You can see here it's the new generation concept called the Schwarzet. So it's another Gundam type model. It's something that his dad was developing with Lady Prospera before the events of the show. And probably she was sharing her technology. That was probably what was in the flash drive, was to develop the Schwarzet, right? Tell me, and then he also learned about it recently too. It was before he acquired us, yeah. So this time we go into drone business together. Shinsei was on the bottom, so it was her way of getting closer to the top. So what are you trying to do? That machine, why don't you announce it was jointly developed between Gundam and Turk, right? Because it was kind of thing. But that was before, that was when more with Shinsei, as the current Gundam is mostly focused on medical use rather than weapon use. Also promote your union to the rest of the group. But here you can see that Miorine does decline because she doesn't want Gundam to be involved with mobile suit development, instead with medical, which was the original purpose for it anyway. In your track record, while stick your principles, you should use them in the concept, right? So the thing, so in a way, Lady Prospera is kind of saying like, you need to do this in order to win, and is sort of, I don't know, directly guiding her, or kind of like, what's the word? You can even call it like manipulation away too. Don't forget. And she's like wondering where she is. She said that she's at Grassley because you get a shot because Lady Prospera is the one with all the Gundam and Permet knowledge, so it kind of makes sense. Especially since Pale is wants to get better at creating Gundams. Looks like Belle is still doing some research and helping out with the Shinsei for a bit more. Flying parallel distribution is your specialty. I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's like spreading the same technology to different places. We'll continue to rely on you, right? What in the world is the mobile suit in this file, right? Exactly what the specs say. A gunbit in mobile suit form to expand Ariel's data storm network. So this looks like the next evolution of the Ariel. So it's pretty much since it's a gun bit, right? It doesn't need a pilot inside. You just run on its own. It's like a autonomous unit. It's called, let's see, called a gun node. So let me just read this real quick. So in a way, an MS-type gun bit for use with a data storm network. So yeah, so it's pretty much controlled using data storms. So through Permet use. Whether one machine or several, it can support the expansion of the Ariel's data storm. Or it could be like accompanying suit to actual Ariel itself. The purpose of the gun node network is to automatically defend and support the Ariel in the most optimal way by responding to enemy attacks and sharing stored tactical information. So it's pretty much an evolution. It can also be seen as an evolution of Ariel's gun bits. It's called a gun node. Alright, cooperation will make Shinsei's Gundam technology part of the core business. Grassley's denier of Gundams, yep. Want to store, can't be picky. Oh, they're unable to recover the Gundam types used in the campus, right? Seems they have built-in self-destructive capabilities, that's unfortunate. Wanted a Gundam when you try to tame one in it. Damn, yeah, she's trying to gauge how desperate he is. Or could it be that the recovery would be inconvenient? Yeah, we don't really get an answer to that. He's like, what's the word? He's acting sus like before. And then Shatik and Guel get in here. You're subsidiary without permission, or you're trying to do, right? Canvassing, right? Enlisting companies to support the election. Because it looks like Miorine doesn't know that she was going to run because she couldn't get married to him. Congrats on the engagement. While dueling, I earned Pale's support. Because he had that in mind anyway. Your opponents in the presidential race are 2 of the 3 branches. So they're pretty much their enemies. The vote is in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to it, right? So in a way, he already has the upper hand. Most likely, depending on how things go, if nothing changes, he's going to win. I mean, not that anyone's surprised because he has been playing this for ages. So, temperature adjusted sun patterns. Then you can see that Chuchu's looking after Suletta. She's like, aren't you just angry? You succeeded father and threw you aside, right? And Suletta like says, Miorine didn't do anything wrong, right? Because she broke her promise in the end. Because she couldn't win. Which made me think I'd ever match for her, right? With me to hold it belonged to my brother, right? So in a way, this dude, I forgot his name. He's kind of what it called rubbing salt into the wound. Watch your mouth. What do you say? You can say he's thanking Choo Choo for saving him during the Rumble Royal. And she's like, that's got nothing to do with it, right? Sulletta's right. Though I've never had anything to begin with, I call myself the holder, the groom. You can see that it was all a mistake. Yeah, so you can see that even if Suletta's trying to put up a brave face, she's still very much feeling the burn of everything. She's feeling a lot of regret. And she wants to improve things, but she isn't sure how. You can see that she's shaking here. Why didn't I realize it, right? You know that's not true, right? And here, Chucha says that they should go see Miorine. So in a way, meeting her directly is probably the fastest solution here. Go to the head office. You see that, what I forgot his name again. The injured guy is holding the fort. Yeah, and so we're like she confronts. It says it's wrong that you're pretending that you're okay with how things are, right? Tell me straight what's on your mind. Right. Let's go, Suletta. You changed Choo Choo. You always chosen fists over talking things out. Yeah, because Choo Choo was always the type to act first, think later. But here she is being a bit more compassionate now. And this is where she says, I thought about what Nika would do. Because Nika always focused on keeping the balance, right? And then you see that dude from before he was injured. He has something to do with Nika's disappearance. When those deterred punks thanked me earlier, I think I finally understood how Nika feels. So he's definitely guilty. Anyway, we're off. Bullies come back, don't try to do anything crazy, right? That's like a precursor to what's going to happen in a bit. Because you can see that here, what is her name again? I keep forgetting. Not Sophie, it's Norea, right? So she's drawing a lot of moths. I don't know what's on the left. She draws a lot of like scenic things sometimes. What are you drawing, right? Why should I tell you? Because she says that he's not a threat. You seem... And this is where Nika asks him a question. You are Elon, right? But you seem really different, right? And this is where he confirms again. He says, I'm a different person, right? I'm not the Ellen Karras that you know. And then this is where we get the current forecast, right? Kind of like the presidential forecast, where the U.S. elections. You can see that Shadiq has pretty much a high point lead. 80 to 20%, pretty much. Because you can see the supporter breakdown, yes. So you see that Grassley has the 43 of that, Pale is 36, others 21. 2% or 21? Delling's base of support is 88, others 12. So yeah, you can see that there's that, whoop, 1 second, went too far, oops. Yeah, so pretty much there's that huge disparity. You should have nominated me as presidential candidate. This is the real Ellen Karras here. Pale grade rendered its judgment. Not yet time for you to take the stage. An evaluation system. So Pale uses its own unique AI to select the company's leaders. I think that's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of the Sybil system from Psychopaths. The one who received the top grade was the real master Ellen Karras, right? So let's look at this. So verbal ability, non-verbal ability, constructional gassing ability. So all 55. Let's see. Performance, tolerance. Interesting. So he's done a lot of testing to determine his capabilities, right? In a way, the real Ellen Karras is on the top. But the thing is that he cannot pilot mobile suits. But when those stupid bride-catching games began, he needed a backup who could pilot a mobile suit in order to win duels, right? There is that, right? But also, we were initially guinea pigs used to master Gundam technology. So if you think about it, this shows that the Pale Group has already done a lot more research after the incident in the prologue episode. Pilots implanted with resistance to data systems. So here he explains how his creation, right? That's us, the enhanced persons. We can't still help but die, right? So in a way, he pretty much is he's explaining what's the word? That he pretty much is artificially made in order to be able to handle data storms, or Akka be able to use permit levels. Then if you pilot the Fair Act, right, then he'll die. Anyone who pilots a Gundam will. Odd ones here are the Mercury girl and her Ariel, right? Tell me, what the hell are those two? Yeah, this is the question everybody has. For anyone who doesn't know inside. Sure know how to run your mouth, right? No use hiding it, right? Is there any reason for you to pilot a Gundam? Really, right? I have none, right? I see. You're hollow inside, so you tell yourself it's for the Earthian's sake, right? And then you can see that she gets offended by this. Because she's pretty much just filled with hate, right? Want to kill all the Spacians. What other reason do I need, right? You don't really want to pilot Gundam either, right? Because she doesn't want to die either, right? Because just how Sophie died. Also, since our lives are so cheap, right? Here you can see that Shadiq is starting to sell off the Bennett Group assets now. Aren't we selling these off far too cheaply? Now the point is my father's life. Transfer the group business isn't going well. No one within the company suspects anything. File report with the Space Assembly League. He's way ahead of us, yep. Seems to gain considerable support. Shadiq would make a bold move, but he didn't know. She didn't expect him to team up Pale. If they'll give you any hints, but this is where why have tensions in Quinn Harbor escalating to a wider military contact. While these initially look like protests by demonstrators, armed Earthian groups have begun attacking Bennett Group facilities. This is heading what's having confirmed. Riots. They're protesting the lack of corporate governance regarding this terrorism. It was enforcing unfair security measures in the name of criminal investigation. Yeah. Anger won't be ended by violence, right? So, in a way, Lady Prospera is telling Miorine to take advantage of the conflict, right? Why don't we try ending the riots, right? We'll speak directly to protesters, calm them down, that's on our tracker. You're talking to armed people, which is true. If you don't make a show of force, you can't negotiate even terms. Yeah. So pretty much if you can't do anything like powerful, you can't show them that you're capable, no one's going to believe you, right? So this is where Miorine says that they'll use the aerial. False conversion won't bring weapons. Won't let another plant quetra happen. We'll demonstrate through this negotiation that I and Gundam Inc. that the Bennett Group of the future will save lives without fighting. So in a way, she's very much a pacifist here. It's a common trope in Gundam anime. They intend to bring the Quinn Harbor riots to an end, right? And looks like you could tell that Shadiq didn't expect that possibility. It was awesome, right? Going to have Holder, Red Arena rolling, which he'd been leader from the beginning. See that this guy here is kind of just ignoring the rumors as much as he can. Belle's here. And then she's being sort of, ambushed by this lady right here. One at Shinsei, you always request. And the guy's behind her. Be mind if we have a word. So you can see that the Bennett Group permit changes to Space Assembly League Investigation Division. which is pretty cool because, like, we only have these two people who are part of the assembly. But I feel like I'd like to see more of them because I feel like they're kind of like working in the background for the most part. When my friend was committing crime, turned her in. Yeah, you can see this guy is the whistleblower. It's not Nika herself wasn't. She was trying to be though. Like in a way, this guy and Nika were trying to do this thing. They were trying to whistleblow them. Nika was trying to whistleblow herself, while this guy actually was a whistleblower for Nika. So in a way, this confirms. I think one of the commenters of my YouTube channel said that this guy right here, the injured dude, was the whistleblower. So it's like a confessional unit. A crime is a crime, right? Because even though Nico's trying to save everyone, she still was a terrorist. It's like, I'm gonna whistle, even though she tried to save everyone too, right? As head of the house, I want to protect everyone. So, it's kind of ironic where both Nika and this guy had the same mindset, but in a way, they both betrayed in their own ways, right? But it doesn't change that Nika has good intentions, and this guy kind of can be seen more as a scumbag. I've done nothing wrong, right? And he's like, did I do the right thing? Huh? And then you see that this lady's right here. I forgot her name. It's been a while. But yeah. He's like, what? You're double-crossing little rat, aren't you? I really advise you to use your own judgment. Got a problem with that, right? I'd like to have some men join you for security. Yep, that makes sense. Then you have Kananji coming in again. From the prologue and from earlier. It's kind of nice to see him finally get into the action now. He's like, is something wrong? Because he's so much bigger than he used to be. So he's like, oh, nothing. He's like, I didn't recognize you. Not like you know Nathan's father, right? He's like, what? Told you we want to see Miorine. You have an appointment? Why do you appointment to meet our buddy, right? And you can see that, let's see. So Suletta's trying to find Miorine. And here Ariel's letting her in. Says she doesn't need me anymore. I don't know what to do, right? But even when Miorine is gone, right? Let's not be able to see her. Right? And then you see here, the Gundam changes from the red to the white light. White light, I think, by now I realized it's the use of the highest permit score available. Because you can see that she's now entering the data storm. And she's in this sort of like a, what do you call it? A visual field? Sort of like a upper ascended world, like virtual world, I guess. In her mind. Where am I, right? And here she sees Eri. Mercury near 154, day 63. Today's game was Digging King. I won with score 6-4. You cried wanting a rematch. So mom gave you hot cocoa and one honey-flavored candy. So you can see that this was the older Lady Prospera after the events of the prologue. Here, right? It was broken from the solar storms. Took your half-empty mug and held it to my cockpit. You said it would warm me. Your arrow, right? And then she's like, oh, that's the arrow, right? The door has opened. We don't need the key anymore. Everyone key, right? The key is Suletta herself. Eri can only live inside the daystorm, so you filled in for her. So in a way, she was her physical body, right? She was sort of Eri's medium. Eri's body, her arms and legs, her extended consciousness. That's us, the children of the coven. That's kind of interesting because it refers to a witch's coven here. So it's like the group of witches in a... I guess that's how they describe group of witches, right? What do you mean, right? Fill in for her. You're all children created from my genes. They're all clones, pretty much. 17 years ago, when Mom don't you remember, right? But it's fine. Quiet Zero will create a world where Eri can live. So we don't need you anymore, Suletta. No, you're wrong, right? And you can see that the original Eri has the white, and now Suletta has the red. She's not doesn't have that compatibility, and she deals with the side effects of the Gundam. And you can see these are all flashbacks of the prologue. Let me go through a little more slowly. Her birthday. Yeah, these are all prologue flashbacks. She's using the Permet Score to show that, and she's dealing with the side effects, even in her mind. And this is I think this is the original Eri here. Because you could tell that she died, right? That you can see her consciousness went from the robot to the Gundam frame. And that this was actually Suletta right here. So in a way, just to clarify, it looks like, it's kind of confusing to see the time, right? Because I in the beginning when she was talking about the Coco, right, I wasn't sure if she was referring to herself or to Suletta, but you can see in this scene specifically, Eri definitely died in the cockpit, and her consciousness is transferred through the Permet Score link, and Suletta is in this cradle because she has the red marks. Do you understand, right? Score 8, I can move of my own free will. And that's why you can't cling to me anymore. No, and she's like, no, right? Not to me or to Mom. You can see that Ariel directly rejects her. This is like the proper rejection that Ariel was always trying to do eventually, because this was always going to happen because of how it's like in the novel, right? Where Ariel will always wants Suletta to be free from herself, right? So she finally is able to do that now because she's at Permet Score 8. And see her mom's out here too, right? Just as Eri said, right? Go back to school. Has all you need to fill your heart, right? Sure about this, Eri? Right? What if she came with us? You're right. Suletta deserves to live freely, doesn't she? Because she's always used as a tool, right? But now she has to still figure things out for herself, and you can see that she's in tears because, it's like such a horrible rejection to deal with, especially since, Ariel has always been very close to her, and now he's like, you're no longer part of my life, I don't need you anymore. But you can see that even then, you can see that her mother and Eric still care about her a little bit. Like, I found it weird that she kind of just chucked her into space. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. But she has like I think I read it was like some sort of distress speaker, so someone will find her eventually, so yeah, that's like the episode. It's like, I like that we at least getting spoon-fed a little more details. We get confirmation that Elon Series is an enhanced person, and that the real Elon is still alive. He just needed an extra person, right? I like that Eri is finally talked to Suletta properly, because I feel like we needed that. And especially since Eri hasn't talked to Suletta like in like a physical form, right? And also getting confirmation that Eri is indeed a clone. Which, from theories in general, nobody's surprised. So yeah, overall a lot of good detail, and also about the presidential race too. So overall a lot of good build up, and we'll see how things start panning out because we don't have that many episodes left. I think we only have about 5 to 7 left. I'm not sure about the total episode count. I think 24, but yeah, it's around 5. So the title is called next episode, Not the Best Way. I forgot who said it, the title, but most likely we'll deal with the aftermath involving the riots, as you can see that Lady Prospera and Ariel are probably going to Earth in order to meet up with Miorine and Guel to try to deal with the aftermath, and they're going to try to, in the very last minute, increase their rampart with their supporters, because they're at a significant disadvantage of around 60%. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys all found that really helpful and overall enjoyed this breakdown. It's overall a good episode, and we'll see how things continue to play out. Still building up a little more, and hopefully we learn a little bit more about the Pale group eventually, because I feel like we haven't had that yet. It's kind of been a while, but yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day. Take care.